Hey modders, welcome back to ModifedRoll. Don't forget we're sponsored by DN Dice. Check out the link to their website in our description, or head over to dndice.co.uk and use the code ModifedRoll for 10% off all purchases. Just before I recap last episode, we want to let you guys know we are trialling Buzzsprout's new mid-roll ad beta test. So you've probably noticed a few adverts have appeared in the last few episodes. This is because they retroactively add them. I only actually signed up for this last week. But this service automatically adds the ads. I don't have to put them in, but this also means I have no control about where they appear. So if you find that they are cutting people off mid-sentence or they're appearing in awkward positions, please do let me know, as we'd really appreciate your feedback about whether or not we continue this after it comes out of the beta. But as for the last episode, the party spent the rest of their evening relaxing in the tavern and just enjoying themselves after a difficult few days. They eventually headed back to their own rooms to rest, but were rudely awakened by an assassination attempt against Sinclair. We rejoin them now, as Ghilliana and Kasizal begin their chase of the would-be assassin, in this episode 14 of Season 2 of ModifedRoll. Catch me if you can. Cairn is blanketed by the gentle silence that comes with nightfall. It's not a perfect silence. The drunken revelry of those leaving the bar occasionally echoes across the city streets, but it's quiet enough that those sounds can echo. Until there's a slam. Wooden window shutters slam backwards against the walls of the inn. A dark figure cloaked in greys and blacks leaps from the window, landing softly on the floor below. They take one glance over their shoulder at the window before starting down the street. Two figures follow soon after. A crystalline dragonborn and an elf dressed in similar clothes to the one who preceded them. They land gracefully behind their quarry and set off down the streets. We follow into the room they've leapt from, where we see a half-orc, half-Goliath recovering from a grievous wound to the chest being tended to by a tiefling as she mends his wounds. Before we jump straight into the chase scene, Sinclair and Twilight, what are you guys doing in the moments after this attack?
Twilight's just gonna be like, what the shit? What is going on? How...
Sinclair is actually not going to say anything. He's just leaning against the wall, sort of clutching where the wound was, staring very wide-eyed.
Sinclair, speak to me. Oh my god. You got your vocal cords? No! Okay. Not...
And he never spoke again.
Not if you understand what I'm saying.
He'll give a slight nod.
Okay,
just
lucid. I'm gonna go and look out the window. Do I see anything?
I mean, you probably catch the tail, if you go pretty quickly, you probably catch the tail end of Ghilliana and Kasizal sort of turning a corner down the road as their feet pitter-patter along the stone cobbles.
I'm gonna turn to Sinclair and be like, I think they're giving chase. I don't know what we want to do. Maybe we should just take a moment to recover, because you seem like you're really out of it.
Yeah, Sinclair will look up towards you and he'll just say, I'm in no condition to give chase.
You can speak. Oh my god, okay.
I know, it's a miracle.
Yeah, I was really worried for a second there.
Quick, take off my twerking trousers. Get me my chase trousers.
Let's get you sat down, and I'm gonna go and see if they have any ale, or something that I could, give you.
Sounds good to me. It's... oh, God.
Okay, sit down.
I just got stabbed. I got stabbed in my sleep.
Yeah, I'm aware that must be really harrowing. I'm gonna go find a drink. And then she's just gonna, go down the corridor, what's happening?
So, as Twilight heads out into the corridor, heading possibly towards the stairs to head to the bar, we cut to the streets below. Sounds occasionally echo across the city, but for the most part, for the two of you, all you can hear is the hammering of your own feet and the soft padded footfalls of the quarry in front of you. They always seem to be just out of reach, turning a corner every time you seem to get close to them. And every time you come around that corner, they seem to be just as far away, no matter how hard you run. We're going to be doing something old school that I don't see used very often, but we're going to be using the actual D&D chase rules, which are actual written rules in the DM's guide that nobody ever seems to make use of. It is assumed that on every round of combat, you will be using a dash action. If you decide to use something other than a dash action, then you will slow down, but you can attempt to do whatever action it is you're doing. You can also use an additional action on your turn. However, doing so requires a DC 10 Constitution check. If you fail that check, you gain a level of exhaustion. But this does not function like normal travel exhaustion or like actual exhaustion, in that you will recover all of these after a short rest. This is essentially like quick, sharp exertion giving you a fucking stitch or whatever. You're not going to die from this one, in case anyone is worried about gaining level of exhaustion and then keeling over dead. Which, for anyone who listens to this and isn't aware, if you gain the maximum levels of exhaustion, you just die. There is no save. If you hit level 6 in exhaustion, you are dead. That does not occur from chase exhaustion, because it's kind of assumed that you will just sort of keel over before you die. Actual exhaustion tends to be like caused by long-term issues, like not being able to rest properly for 2 weeks or whatever. So on your turn, you can take your normal action to dash, or you can do another action and use an additional dash action, but you have to make a Constitution saving throw to do so. You can attack your quarry as normal if you have like range stuff that can hit them, or if you manage to get close enough. But opportunity attacks don't really count in this unless it's somebody from outside the chase taking them, because opportunity attacks assume that people are like moving outside of each other's range. In this case, it's always assumed you're all running in the same direction. So opportunity attacks do not count. And on each turn, you may come into a complication, which I will be rolling for, and they will determine if things happen on that turn. So, that said, we're going to roll initiative to see who goes first on each round.
Oh, wow. What a start. Fantastic.
I can be worse, I bet.
Oh, it's not bad.
Oh, Ben.
That was sincere, not sarcasm. Ghilliana.
And I have a question. With a step of her end, because that has an extra dash action. Would that work in these walls, or
yeah, they absolutely can, and it will allow you to catch up to them faster.
Okay,
so Ghilliana, what was your initiative then?
I think this is right.
Yeah, it's your D20 plus your Dex mod plus your Rakish Audacity, so plus your Con. So it's probably yours going to be like +7 or something stupid.
Yeah, it's 29.
Fuck me sideways.
Hell yeah.
Right, and Kasizal?
4.
Hell yeah.
And on the other side of the spectrum.
That's with rolling a 2. So that's a +2 on that.
Fantastic. So unsurprisingly, Gilly will be going first. So on your turn, you are... Sorry, Anne.
Thank you.
You are currently about 30 feet from this assailant.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I'm 30 feet.
Yeah, but just remember, this isn't like normal combat where you like run up and stab them. It's like your movement doesn't really matter, other than the fact that if you want to attack them this turn, you can reach them and attack them. But you're always going to be like the same distance apart unless one of you doesn't do a dash action.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and catch up and attack. Attack, bitch. Cool. Oh, question is, what do I use? I don't know what I want to do. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's go, and I'm going to try and catch up, and I'm going to stab her then.
Okay.
With my dagger.
Okay, so we're going to assume, unless you tell me otherwise, are you going to use your action to make the attack?
Yeah.
And because you're a rogue, I'm going to assume you're using your bonus action to dash.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that evens out, so you don't lose any ground, so you can catch up and you can make the attack. So just roll your attack roll as normal.
Oh. Does 19 hit?
It does, strangely enough.
Oh, good. God, I don't think I've ever used my dagger. Oh, do I get sneak? I get sneak attack, don't I?
Yes, because you're a stupid fucking swashbuckler. Yes.
6 damage.
Okay. Is that with your sneak attack?
Yes. Wait,
Right.
how much sneak attack do I get? Yeah.
So you'd be
1d6.
1d4 plus your dex plus whatever I think your sneak attack is. Was it 2d6? 1d6?
Oh shit, 2d6. No, that isn't with that.
Yes, because you're level 3. You now have 2d6 sneak attack.
Oh, this is great. And okay, an extra 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 points.
Okay,
Damage.
that's a bit more like what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Daggers
So-
do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Is all I'm going to say. I didn't think
Well,
that they would.
daggers do when wielded by a rogue. Otherwise, they tend to do 1d4.
Like,
So you have been chasing after this person, and as you're running down these cobbled streets, you realise that you're heading. Well, actually, just both of you can give me just a straight up either survival or a straight up intelligence check.
Oh, better not do intelligence. I don't know survival's.
That is a 19 on survival.
Ooh, perfect.
Oh, 3 on survival for me.
Okay. Ghilliana is way more focused on just stabbing this person, stopping them. Kasizal, you are a little bit further behind just as this chase takes place. Ghilliana is immediately, almost like with a spring in her step, moving a little bit ahead of you to try and get this attack in. And you take a split second to take in your surroundings, and you sort of can. The way you're heading, you're pretty sure you're heading southwest. And just as a reminder, because I'm pretty sure everyone's forgotten, Cairn is split by the ravine, so you're like in the cleft of two mountain ranges. To the east, it is quite a shallow incline, which is where most of the nobles live because they can make better use of the land to make their big estates. It's easier to convert to flat land. To the west, the incline is a bit steeper, and that's more where like the common people live or like low-ranking merchants, because the land is a bit steeper, so it's more difficult to get enough flat land to build a big property on. You're heading sort of southwest, which is towards the gate, which heads out the wall, which sort of blocks into the southern lands, the direction you came from, and you're also heading west towards this steeper bit of the mountains. Not that that's massively important, just letting you know what direction you're going. That said, Ghilliana, you've caught up, you've made a stab, it's connected, you're getting a good look at this person as well. I believe, Pete, you corrected me earlier and I told you it was a dark-haired human woman.
Yeah, brown-haired woman.
Yeah, so you can see that this is a sort of brown-haired, plain-looking woman, sort of, like any good assassin would be, the sort of person you wouldn't be able to pick out in a crowd quite easily. Very plain face, no discernible features. And as you stab them, they make a grunt at the impact, but they are more intent on getting away from you, in that they don't really, they register you were there, they're not happy, but they're going to try and get away. But it is their turn. They see you as a threat now. They look at you, and there's not anger or pain, just cold calculation in their eyes. They look at you, they see you as a threat, as someone trying to stop them from getting away. It does. 21 hits. I'm going to take a stab in the dark. So yeah, they turn to you, drawing the short sword in the same motion as they turn, spinning their body. And then, as I've already pointed out, this person is also a rogue.
Oh my god, I really fucked up.
2, 7, 9, 10, plus 3, 13. The sword whips out, there's moonlight glinting off of its blade as it cuts across your body, your unarmored body, as you did not have time to don your armor. The blade cuts into you, dealing 19 damage.
Was I asleep?
Yes, you were all asleep when this all
I
happened.
thought that I
and you rushed
wasn't
in.
because
Well, you were trancing, but you
Okay.
still to rest. You cannot wear your armor. So if you were resting for the night, you could not be wearing your armor.
Okay. I don't know if I didn't know.
I mean, you did specifically say that you guys got dressed up in your glad rags to go out.
How much? How much damage?
At 19.
Ah, shit.
You unconscious?
No. No, but I'm so annoyed at myself.
They stab you, and then they attempt to just continue running to get away from you, and they try to put a bit of space between you both. That said, Kasizal, it is now your turn.
So, just a quick rundown. What actions can I take during this?
So you can use your action to use whatever action you like, but if
Yeah.
you don't use either your action or a bonus action to dash, you will fall behind.
Okay.
Or, again, like I said, you can use an additional extra action to do a dash, but to do so you, I guess I can't, as a monk you get that bonus action dash, don't you? Or
I get
bonus action disengage.
I get a step of a round, which is spend 1 key point, and I can disengage or dash as a bonus action on my turn.
So you can do that, or you can just do the additional dash, but that is a Constitution check.
Okay, so pretty much if I want to dash, I can spend my key point to do that without consequences, basically.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And like I said, it isn't like normal combat. It's assumed that right now, because you haven't fallen behind, you can reach them and make an attack if that's what you want to do on this turn.
But currently, as far back as I am, could I make a ranged attack, or is that too close?
If you want to say that you aren't closing the distance to do a melee attack, you can make a ranged attack.
Okay. Roughly, like, how far ahead are they in this chase?
I'm sort of saying for now, it's assumed that you could reach them within your turn, so we're saying about 30 feet.
Okay, cool. In that case, I'm going to use Breath of a Dragon.
Okay.
So I'll just post this in the... I'm going to use it as a 30-foot line.
Yep.
With that, I can make 2 rolls of martial arts die. They're making a save against my key save DC.
Yep, and I've rolled 18. What's your key save?
It's 11, so they'll take half.
Okay, so I've made the save. So I wouldn't bother rolling, because what happens is as you... What type of breath weapon were you going to use?
I was going to use cold.
Okay. As you're running, you stutter your steps for a couple of paces as you breathe in and pull this energy into your chest, and you can feel your body as the key focuses in your chest. Because this isn't your normal breath weapon. This isn't something you could do normally. You have to pull the key together and convert your energy into this breath attack.
Yeah.
And as you do, crystals begin to form in the air, form around your mouth, and they glitter in the air around you as the temperature drops significantly, and you breathe out in front of you in this line of freezing, black, Arctic cold air. But this assassin in front of you looks over their shoulders. This happens, and as the line blasts down the direction they're running, they leap into the air and twist so that the line fires directly underneath them, and they land skidding across the ice that is now formed in the ground below them. Unfortunately, they have evasion, so even though they would have taken half damage, they actually take none.
Okay.
Is that the end of your turn? Or I'm assuming you're going to use your key point to dash?
Yeah, I'm going to do that as well.
Cool.
So I'll be using that to dash.
Yeah, magic. That's the end of the turn. Complications! Ooh. As the assassin turns a corner, these ringing sounds of a bar fight reach your ears, as in front of you, a couple of men spill out from a tavern ahead of you. The assassin manages to get there just before they fill this alleyway, but as you guys try to get past there, all of a sudden filling the space, both of you can make either an athletics or acrobatics or intimidation check to try and get these guys out of your way or to move around them.
Oh, 27. I got a natural 20. To make it a 27 on acrobatics.
Cool.
I got a 16 on acrobatics.
Okay, so you both succeeded. So both of you, I like to imagine Ghilliana got there first, so you see this happening, and you just jump up, kick off the wall, somersault over them, and Kasizal... go, you describe it, go on.
So I want to. So she's running super fast, and she, like, her brain is going, like, super fast, and she's, like, all her strategizing is coming back to her from her, like, lessons with her brothers, and she's like, oh my god, and she sees it all fall into place. A man falls over. She runs. She jumps on his back. She springs up. She does an open swan dive up into the air. She does a somersault into the air. She lands perfectly on her feet in, like, a superhero pose.
Superhero
she gets
3-point pose.
Keeps running. Yeah.
Kasizal, you watch that happen. What do you do?
I'm guessing I may make it.
I will say, with the 16 you succeed. You're not as graceful as Ghilliana was, but you make it. So how do you get through?
So I'm just doing my best to just dodge out of the way of what I see coming up. I'm not trying to make this
Flashy.
It's
yeah,
like
I'm
Hot Fuzz.
like my eyes off.
I'm thinking dodge, dip, dive, and dodge.
Especially, I've just used my cold breath, and like I can in my brain, I'm almost picturing like the gems on me are just kind of like going back to colour after like the bluish glow from the freeze. And
yeah, I like to imagine that after you've done the cold breath specifically, I like to imagine your jaw actually like locks up from the cold, and you have to like crunch your jaw closed, and like ice cracks off your jaw when it happens.
And my eyes are focused on the assassin that I'm chasing, and so my actions are almost just instinctive at this point. So I'm just doing what I need to do to just dodge
like,
what I need
it's
to.
like Avatar, Legend of Korra, when they're doing the airbender dodge things, the antique testing thing where you're just moving with the wind, and not letting them touch you. But you make it through fine. Ghilliana very flashily jumps over. One of the guys is like, "What the fuck?" And then you're just like dodging between them, and you're still running down the alley behind this assassin. We're back to the top of the order. Ghilliana.
Also, can I just say, probably because I'm a little bit fucked, a massive spray of blood would probably just sprayed all over those people.
You hit the ground in the superhero pose, and you look up, and you have that like brief second where your head comes up, and you're like, yeah, and then it's just as blood just erupts from your side.
Yeah. So, oh no. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my action to neck back.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. There was one thing I forgot to do at the end of my round. This isn't anything for you guys, this is for me. I have to make a check. What are your guys' passive perceptions?
11.
Really not good. 11.
Ooh, okay. This actually could go very poorly for you then.
No, sorry, 13.
Okay, you're fine. Oh, no, hold on. Maybe you're not fine. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Fuck.
Oh, no.
Twilight!
Also...
No, do you know what? I'll say for this one, because you guys both succeeded on that check, I'll let you both roll a perception check instead of using your passives, because you both succeeded in that. So both of you roll me a perception check.
God. 17.
There's a 13.
Oh, thank Christ. Right. Oh, Christ. That was going to be a very short chase. Ghilliana, you land, you do your superhero pose, and then blood erupts. And you have to take a second to, like, staunch this bleeding. And when you look up, this assassin is gone. You cannot see them. But there's an intersection just ahead. You get to the intersection, you get there, you stop, you close your eyes, you listen, and you can hear it just faintly. Tap, 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 down one of the ways. You look back to Kasizal, you don't shout, you just point, and you take off down that alley. And Kasizal, you see this and you follow. Back to the top of the order. Ghilliana, you head down that alley, there's a quick right turn, you turn, and the assassin is just there ahead of you. What do you do?
Okay, so she's holding the side, she's going... She's limping through the pain.
It's a stitch, I'm fine, I'm fine.
And she's gonna reach into her pocket. She's gonna drink a potion of healing that she has.
That's fine. I do say drinking your own potion of healing is a bonus action. So are you going to use your action to dash, or are you going to do something else?
I'm going to use I was going to use the bonus action to take it, and then I was going to dash with the.
Cool. So you're not doing an attack this turn. You're just healing up. Cool. So you can roll your potion. You can give yourself some health back. I trust you to do that. The assassin is just going to continue to dash. You give them a check here. Ooh, that was a nat 20. They begin to pull away from you, Ghilliana.
Okay.
So for your reference, you probably worked it out, but what I did at the end of each round is I make a stealth check for the assassin. If they can beat your passive perception, you lose sight of them. Currently, with them pulling ahead on that natural 20 check, they're going to get, because there's nothing really, they've nowhere really to hide, that last check was made at disadvantage, and they still beat your passive. This time I will be rolling it normally. No disadvantage, no advantage, so you two better hope you do well in the end of round check. Unless, of course, Kasizal, you catch up and hit them. Kasizal, it's your turn, what would you like to do?
Catch up and hit them, that's what he wants to do.
I mean, bear in mind, like I said, you can use other stuff to, like, you know, if you have stuff in your... Well, to be fair, you're not carrying your bags or your equipment, so, like, you're very limited in what you can do. But, like, you know, it's not part of the rules for this, but I'll say if you want to be imaginative, like, if you want to say you spend your action climbing the building to get a better bird's eye view, I will factor that into the bonuses at the end of the round.
Okay.
Actually, do you know what I will do? Just because I threw that out there apropos of nothing, If you take your action, I will let you scale a building for free. But every turn, you're going to have to make an acrobatics check to make sure you can go from building to building without losing sight.
This changes everything.
Yeah, you will. So being on the roof will be a detriment to the quarry hiding, but it's also going to be a detriment to your movement. On the ground, you will face these checks I have prepared. On the roof, you will literally just be making acrobatics check after acrobatics check.
Question about that.
Yes.
Would there be a possibility of using the step over and to do the jump distance between the buildings? Would that help or no?
Fuck it, I would let you do it at advantage.
Okay, cool.
Because don't forget, the acrobatics check isn't just for clearing the distance, it's clearing the distance and keeping running.
Okay.
It's all well and good hitting the roof, but if you hit the roof wrong and just base plant, you're not going to see where they go.
Okay.
So if you were to use that and spend your key points to do it, I would give you advantage on those checks.
So I can climb as a free action for now.
You're a monk, I'll just fucking let you. They're not tall buildings, you can get onto the top of a building if you spend your action doing it.
Okay, I've got a dart on me, so can I use one of those?
If you take your action to make the attack this turn, then you can't get on the building.
Okay.
Or tell a lie, do you know what? Because it's technically it would be using I'm essentially factoring it into you using like the action to do it. So what I will allow, I'm being very loose with the rules here, don't at me.
I'm not.
You can make an attack action to throw your dart. You can use your bonus action to step of the wind, which I will allow you to use to get onto the roof for free. We'll say free, you're spending a key point for it. But to keep pace, you will have to make the constitution check to do your normal dash.
No, I'm just going to get on the roof and just do that.
So, Ghilliana, you're chasing after him, you're chugging a potion, you throw the empty bottle down, it smashes in the alley next to you, and behind you, you just hear like a as Kasizal against the walls, one wall to the other, back and forth, like fucking Prince of Persia. And he just lands on the roof, and then tap, 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 as he's running along these tiled roofs above you, and you look up and you can see him silhouetted against the moon and the stars as he runs along next to you with his monk's robes billowing behind him. He now has eyes on this assassin. So, before the chase complications, Kasizal, can you make me an acrobatics check, please? Just standard for now.
Okay. That is a 17.
Okay, you're fine. You're still running. Ghilliana, you are still in the alley. Well, alleys. You're constantly moving, jumping from one to the next. You run out of the end of an alley into what is one of the larger streets. And as you do, you see this assassin bump into someone, push off them, and continue running, and they turn and shout. As they turn to see you running as well, you realise this is one of the city guard, and he calls out, "Halt!" What do you do?
Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna say, help me, that woman stabbed me and took my money. Stop her.
Okay, roll me a persuasion check.
Actually, and then for good measure, I'm gonna show my fucking bloody hand.
So you just run up to your guard and you're showing them a hand covered in blood.
Yeah.
Just think about that for a second. It's dark.
I said that she stabbed me.
Yeah, I'm just saying, roll persuasion.
Oh, fine. Don't worry about it. I won't show the hand. Persuasion.
Yep.
20.
Okay. He looked like he was about to draw a sword on you, and when you shout that, he turns to look after the other person, sees them running, and pulls out a whistle and starts to blow his whistle. He doesn't run, you run past him, but he starts to blow his whistle, and at the same time, Kasizal, it's a larger gap than normal, but you've already rolled the check, you're fine. You clear this gap over the street, and this guard looks up to see you landing on the roof above him, onto the tiles, as you run off as well, and you just hear this guard's whistle blowing out behind you, and as you continue to run, you hear it echoed further down the street. The guards have been alerted. Back to the top of the order. Ghilliana, what would you like to do?
Right, I want to fucking dash so I'm right up next to this girl.
You do that.
Yeah, and then I don't want to stab
her. Sorry. Do you know what? I keep forgetting to do this. I know you want to say stab. I need to do my stealth check.
No, I didn't want to stab her, actually.
Oh, sorry. I need to do a stealth check. Doing it at disadvantage because Kasizal has the roofs. Oh, you guys are lucky that was a natural one.
Oh.
So, Kasizal, from this rooftop, you can see exactly where they are. They actually haven't realised you're up there yet. So while they're trying to duck and dive from street to street to get, break line of sight, they haven't realised you're up there. so they don't know that they have to be trying to break a bird's eye view as well. So, sorry, Ghilliana, you dash, you chase up to them. What is it you want to do?
I want to try and take her out. I want to take her legs from underneath her.
Okay.
So I want to like, I'm happy to like run and slide and try and take her out by her ankles with my
You'll
feet.
essentially treat it like a grapple check then, because essentially what you're trying to do is stop their movement. So you're going to make an athletics check, and they're going to try and beat you with an acrobatics check.
Oh shit, okay.
Unfortunately, these are just grapple rules. Okay, I didn't roll too well. Did you roll a natural one?
I haven't rolled because
Okay, cool.
I'm scared.
Right, I have rolled relatively middle of the road here, so...
Okay. 16? Oh!
14.
You know, I have a -1 athletics.
This person has a +3, they rolled 11.
Shit.
So you catch up to them, you're sort of timing the pace behind them, and it's like that, almost like that old schoolyard trick. Whenever somebody runs, you just kick their back heel and it clips the foot in front. But as you do that, you also dive forward and wrap your arms around their waist to try it, because obviously they might have stumbled when they've done that, but you want to put them down, you want to stop them.
I also want to don't want to be in, so obviously I have fancy footwork.
Yeah.
Nope, can't do that.
No, that would be if you did attack. This is just a grapple, so you're what's going to happen is for their turn, you're going to be grappling them, and they have to try and get away from you.
Okay,
So
all
you
good.
clip their heel, they stumble, and you almost like spear tackle dive it from behind, put your arms around their waist, and knock them to the ground. And you're currently on top of them. We're going to quickly cut back to the tavern. Sinclair, you're still sort of lying in the room, recuperating, catching your breath. Twilight, you've headed down the stairs. It's the middle of the fucking night. The bar is closed.
She's still. Did we have any? Know what to do. This is all canon. What she's saying out loud. I have a water skin, so she can run back upstairs, and go to her stuff and get the water skin out, and then go and give it to Sinclair and be like, "Drink."
Twilight, you have handed the water skin, or pointed the water skin towards Sinclair.
Sinclair will take that as the order to drink, and will do so.
Yeah. She's looking at you, unblinking.
He will take the cleric's orders.
So, you guys know the other two have set off in chase. Do you have any plans for while they're out, or you guys, Sinclair, is your plan just to like recover? I'm not saying you have to do something. I just want to know, do I need to cut back to you guys in another minute, or can I just let the chase finish?
I think he'd probably just stay where he is. Yeah,
I've got a candle and some incense. I'm going to set up as like a calming aura. Be like, it's fine. You're safe.
Okay, so Sinclair, yeah, you take the water skin, you you drink it on the cleric's orders, and you contemplate your mortality. If you guys just want to sort of stay there, Twilight, if you're going to like care for Sinclair, we'll assume that that's sort of what you're doing for now, and we will cut back to the chase, where we have the the beast tonight answering questions. No, we're going to cut back to the chase. That's a joke for our British listeners. So yeah, Ghilliana, you have just tackled this assassin to the ground. It is their turn, and they're going to see if they can get away from you. So you're going to make another athletics check.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Not a strength check?
Unfortunately not. I think since you've already told me it's a -1 for your athletics, I think I might win this one with a 21.
Well, I haven't yet, but yes, you have beat me.
Cool. They managed to squirm out from underneath you, but at this point, you guys are right on top of them. Any checks they're making aren't just going to be at disadvantage. I'm going to be giving them like a -5 penalty. So you guys are like right on top of them. That said, Kasizal, it's your turn. You've just seen Ghilliana tackle this person, but no sooner have they hit the floor It's almost like they're covered in butter. They just straight out from underneath Ghilliana. They're back on their feet and they are sprinting. What would you like to do?
So we're about level with the assassin at this point.
You're pretty much on the roofs on top of them, running side by side, looking down.
So if I tried to do the dash for this one, I could possibly get ahead.
You would be neck and neck, because don't forget, it's kind of assumed that they are also dashing, so you're going to be like neck and neck. I would say if you used your normal action to dash and then your bonus action to dash, yes, you could get ahead of them.
Looking ahead, is there any like crossroads coming up in the?
Not just to be like a dick about it, but like you're coming towards the edge of like the city, so you're still running through like rabbit warrens almost, like it's streets, alleys, all sort of interconnecting. So I would, if you want to like get ahead and then on your next turn like try and attack them or tackle them or something, I would give you advantage on that. But like, there's no way that you could get like so far ahead that you could block them off because there are streets everywhere.
Okay.
But again, you still know at this point from, especially now from being on the rooftop using your check earlier, you know you're still heading in a pretty steadily southwesterly direction.
And I haven't been noticed yet.
Do you know what? They've just been tackled, so I'm going to give them a perception check at disadvantage to see if they've noticed you. They have not noticed you. They don't. Well, at least as far as you're aware, they haven't looked directly at you.
You know what? From up where I am, especially as they haven't noticed me yet, I'm going to use this time to try and... I'm using my action to try and keep level with them as they're running along, so that as they're trying to get out there, I can keep an eye on them.
Cool. So you're not going to attack them or anything. You're just going to try and keep level with them.
While they don't know where I am at the moment, I'm going to use this time to be able to keep an eye on them.
Like we said earlier, are you going to use your bonus action to step of the wind to help you with your athletics check, or are you just going to use a standard check?
Yeah, I'm going to use the step of the wind to help me with this.
Cool. So don't forget to be marking off your key points, but you can roll your acrobatics check at advantage.
Glad I've got advantage on this. That is a 17.
Cool. You are perfectly fine. You can do exactly what you wanted to do.
Okay.
So now we get to the end of the round. Luckily for you, Ghilliana, these streets are quiet. You get back on your feet and you're running, and no drunken idiots, no guards step out in the road in front of you. You're able just to keep running. That said, they're not going to make their stealth check with a -5 penalty and disadvantage. Wow! They technically... Oh, actually, they've got a pretty good bonus to stealth, but even then, that works out to be... Math, a 3. So you're fine. You guys can very easily keep track of them. Ghilliana, what would you like to do?
Well, now I'm really pissed. So I was trying to be nice before. I was like, I'm not gonna hurt her again. Like,
I mean, the first thing you did was stab them, but go on.
No, the first thing I did was stab them, and then I thought, well, no, maybe she doesn't react well to being stabbed, so maybe I'll give her a chance. And she fucking slipped my clutches, so I'm pissed off again. So I'm gonna dash.
You were correct. She didn't stab you last time.
No, she didn't. But I don't care. So I'm going to dash all the way up to her again.
Yeah, you can do that. It's not a problem.
Well, what the fuck did she stab me with last time?
Short sword.
Sword? Well,
yeah.
I'm going to stab her again.
Cool. Roll to attack. With
my dagger this time. No, because I'm thinking I probably wouldn't have the fucking sword with me.
I'm only letting you have the dagger because I think you might have said you grab a dagger.
Yeah, they're like...
I may be misremembering that.
I would have thought that the daggers would be on my person rather than...
Ghilliana always keeps a dagger between her butt cheeks for emergencies.
Exactly, that's the way. That's the way I am. 19.
That hits. Roll damage, and because you're a swashbuckler, you still get your sneak attack.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be 1d4 plus your dex mod plus your 2d6.
16. And then I'm using my fucking thing, fancy footwork, I'm getting out of the way.
Yeah, we're kind of assuming if you get close, like, don't forget, on your turn, you're technically always within range to make at least one attack. So unless you want to fall so far back that you are likely to lose sight of them, we're going to assume that you're within range of attacking them every turn.
If I make a melee attack, I can move away from them without getting it.
Without getting an opportunity attack, but I've already said, because you're technically running side by side, they're not going to get an opportunity attack anyway. So you can fall far enough back that they can't attack you on their turn, but it means that they're going to have a better chance of hiding from you. But you also know that Kasizal was up on the roof anyway, so...
Yeah, I'm not doing well, Jordan. So it's probably best I do that.
Cool. So in that case, what will happen at the end of this round is, provided nothing else happens with the random events, we're going to assume that she's only rolling a check against Kasizal and not you, because you're going to be far enough away that she can get around a corner and hide from you. So, that said, it is her turn. She's going to keep... You've moved far enough back. She's not going to...
God, how many hit points does she have?
I mean, enough. You've only hit her twice.
I know, but she hit me once and I was nearly gone.
I'm not going to lie. I specifically picked an assassin because they are...
Has a million hit
They
points.
have a high CR rating because I didn't want this fucking chase to end in one round when you stab them with sneak attack.
But this is 2 sneak attacks.
Exactly. And if you hit them with another 4, you'll probably kill them. So, that said, it is their turn. They're going to keep fucking running. They're not going to slow down just to stab you. They're going to keep trying to get away. And they do get a bit ahead of you. They slip around a couple of corners and you start to lose sight. You can still hear them. You don't know where they are. Kasizal, what would you like to do in your turn? Are you just going to try and keep pace with them still?
I've just seen Ghilliana dropping back, haven't I?
Yes, you've seen all this happen. You've seen her stab them. You've seen her then like fall back a little bit so that she can't get stabbed back. And you can tell from this distance that, you know, you can tell with where they're positioned and where Ghilliana's positioned, she does not have line of sight with them currently. Only you do.
Okay. If I wanted to dive down on them because they haven't seen me yet, could I do that? Or
Yes.
Does Jordan get sneak attack?
Unfortunately, he doesn't, but because it is technically a surprise attack, if you want to make a normal attack, you'll do so at advantage. If you want to do a grapple, I will give them disadvantage.
I'm going to pretty much... I'm aiming to dive down on them to try and pin them to the ground.
Okay, we'll treat that as a grapple.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what, fuck it. You can have advantage as well because you'll be coming at them at a rate of speed.
Yeah.
But it
And
is
I am a
grapple.
Dragonborn as well.
Exactly, you're a big...
dropping from the sky.
You just like curl up to make yourself into a big boulder. It is a grapple, so you do have to do it as an athletics check.
Okay.
And I will be making an acrobatics check. Ooh, at disadvantage, you got so lucky. You got so lucky.
That's a 15 and gone plus 1, so 16.
I got an 11. If that hadn't been at disadvantage, that would have been an 18 plus 6.
Oof.
I'm lucky.
You hit them like a fucking stone. You catch them square between the shoulder blades, and they thump into the stones beneath them, and they skid. Like you're, do you know what? I'm just because you've hit them from a height.
Yeah.
They take some damage as you just tear the skin off of their like face and arms. I said that really graphically. I don't mean they literally tore their face off.
Night of the Living Dead.
But they have
The closest thing to like road rash.
They have road rash on their face and arms. You hit them. That is going to be the end of the round, and they're currently grappled. They don't have a chance
Can
to
I
get away.
just say, while I've like almost like the gems on me are just kind of like almost shaking as I've got them pinned down. That's all.
Just like the gems like vibrating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of like
absolutely.
as if I'm getting ready to make another breath, but I'm not doing that. It's just kind of like almost like warm, kind of almost like an intimidation kind of tactic, kind of.
Yeah, you're like focusing. You're essentially like vibrating with energy. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, they're face down on the ground, so they don't see that.
Yeah, but
Everyone else does.
But
if they try and look up,
yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna say, because you've technically stopped it, I'm not gonna roll a random complication because you can't run into one. They can't roll a hide because they're underneath you. Ghilliana, you catch up. What do you want to do on your turn?
I want to go up to that little bitch. Can I see any open wounds?
Fuck it, you can see where you last stabbed her, yeah. Because you probably would have stabbed her like lower back from behind because you weren't trying to get in front of her, so there's like a stab wound in her lower back.
I'm going to go up to her and I'm going to crouch down. So I'm crouching down and I'm looking at her in her face that is smushed up against the floor. I'm going to get my hand, I'm going to put it in her face, and then I'm going to stab 2 of my fingers into the little fucking wound in her back. I'd be like, don't you dare try and get away from this again, or I will make it the last thing you do.
Hey guys,
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my fingers right in there.
anyone remember season 1 where Elrest threatened to torture a guy?
I didn't threaten to torture her.
No, you're just torturing
I am torturing her. And I'm telling her that I'll kill her if she fucking tries to get up
just
again.
skip
the threatening. It's just straight to torture. Make both of you actually can make an insight check.
Oh, I thought you were going to say intimidation check.
Well, I mean, you've stuck your fingers in their body. I'm giving you a second. That sounded much worse than intended.
Suddenly, teeth don't seem so bad, do they?
What check was that?
Twilight, no. Bad Twilight, down.
What check was that?
Insight.
Oh,
You're
so
trying to get a read of them.
That's an unnatural 20.
Ooh,
I get a +3 on
mine's 17.
insight.
Nice. Ghilliana?
Mine's 17.
Cool. I'll say this, but both of you, you know to look for these signs now. This person reacts to the pain, but it is an instinctual reaction. There isn't a fear. There isn't anger. There's just the reflection, the reflexive response to the pain itself. When they look at you, there isn't anger in their eyes. There isn't fear for their life. They are assessing you. They're, even now, with your hands in an open wound on their side, all they're thinking about is the quickest way out of this situation. It is all stone cold calculation, no emotion.
Who is this person? Oh my god.
Kasizal, can you make me another athletics check, please?
Okay.
They are rolling at disadvantage because they do technically still have Ghilliana's hand in their wound.
Oh, natural 20.
Lucky bitch, I rolled an unnatural 20. I rolled an unnatural 19.
Get a +1 on that with athletics, so that'll be 21.
It's the power of the fingers, baby.
I was actually before I describe. Oh Christ! There's a T-shirt.
Maybe a sticker.
Maybe a sticker.
That'd be quite.
But maybe not a T-shirt, but a sticker. I'll say this much, Kasizal, before I describe what happens, you've just seen Ghilliana stick 2 of her fingers into an open wound in this person's lower back. What is your reaction to that?
I'm barely bothered by that. My eyes are just focused in on the assassin because I've just seen way back there. I've seen my friend get stabbed, so
You've seen 2 friends get stabbed.
My face
No,
is
Ghilliana, you don't count.
no.
You were awake.
On top of it, but my face is just anger. That's the vibrations of the gems, and so I'm just full anger. My focus is on keeping this assassin down.
Jordan, I'm gonna let you make an executive decision in my world.
Yeah.
Do Dragonborn growl, and are you growling?
I'm not growling, but my breath is heavy. It is heavy on my neck.
Your jaw
It's almost
is
electric.
Set. Yeah, your jaw is set. Your teeth are bared. You aren't growling, but I'll ask you this question then: if you were to use a breath weapon right now, which one would it be?
Lightning.
Ghilliana, as you're doing this,
Because, like I said, the air is almost electric right now.
yeah, Ghilliana, as you're doing this, you can literally feel your hair standing up. There's a static in the air, and every so often you swear you can see an arc of energy jumping from tip to tip of the crystals along Kasizal's body. There is a tingling in the air, and you can see as it jolts from point to point to point to point, and then you're sure you can see it arcing across his teeth and jaw. He is focused on this person beneath him, which is the only reason why, as you look away from this wound to look at him, you feel a shift in this person's body. They move almost imperceptibly, but all of a sudden, your hand isn't in this wound. They have moved to get their hand free of their body free of your hand. And you're 100% sure if Kasizal was not focused on them with every fiber of his being, they would slip out from under him. But you see him tense. You see a very slight shift in his weight as he moves one knee to catch their hip. His weight lowers on his arm, pressing their shoulder into the ground. His other hand pressed to their side stops them from twisting as he holds them in place with his jaw inches from the back of their neck. I'm going to say you have such a good hold on them that the chase has ended. At this point, you guys could hear the echoing of whistles across the city. For any of you guys who aren't aware, like, again, this is very rough knowledge from what I have from reading other books, but the way old guards and police would have used their whistles is they used them to locate on one another. So originally what you heard when that one guardsman blew his whistle, you heard others far away, and then the next time you heard them, they echoed closer, and then again and closer, and now you can hear them running down the street towards you guys. They aren't in sight yet, but now the whistles are all coming from a singular location, and they are seconds away from getting to you. What did the two of you do?
I want to just... Can I see her hands?
Yep, they're currently splayed out on the ground. You could tell from what she was trying to do when she tried to get away, she was like leveraging her body to try and twist underneath Kasizal's weight, so her hands are currently splayed against the ground, trying to hold her weight.
Do I see any rings?
You do not.
Okay. And then I just want to... I don't think she's going to reply, but I want to be like, who sent you? Why did you try and kill our friend?
You're right, she doesn't reply.
Bitch.
Again, just from your last roll, I know you didn't roll as highly as Kasizal, but you still rolled a 17 on your insight.
Yeah.
Again, she's trying to read the situation, but you can see her eyes flicking back and forth, back and forth. You can see she was not prepared to be pinned under a martial artist. She is trying to figure out a way out, but Kasizal has pinned her so bodily that she has nowhere to move to get out from under him.
Okay, I'm going to try and get in. I kind of want to get into her face.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go, do you hear those whistles? That means that the guards of the city are coming, and they're going to come soon. And unless you want to end up in prison, I suggest that you start talking, and you start talking quickly. Because if you tell me what I want to hear, then I might just let you go. But if you don't, then I'm definitely giving you up. And I have friends in the city guard.
Ghilliana, as you're saying that, their eyes flick up when you mention the whistles. You see them stop moving. They listen. They look you in the eye. Give me a perception check.
Okay. 18.
They move their jaw in an unnatural way. You recognize this as something your parents taught you about from the wars.
Ah, shit. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you've worked this out as a player, but in character, and for our listeners, I'll explain. From the wars, the demons were... Well, they're demons. They're terrible, they're beings of evil incarnate, chaotic evil. They were more than happy to take mortals back to the abyss or back to whatever place they had claimed in the mortal realm, and they would do unspeakable, horrific things to them. So those who were sent out to battle the demons would, as a precaution, take a form of release. And quite often it would be a capsule head held in the back of the jaw that, if ingested, would be death within seconds. You were shown how these were fitted and how they were used, and you recognize this unnatural movement in the jaw of someone preparing to release and ingest such a device. What do you do?
Oh God, will I know how to stop that happening?
I mean, you have to stop her from biting down in the capsule and ingesting it. You have literally a split second.
I'm gonna literally force my fingers right in between, like right into.
Yeah,
my
you
mouth.
want to put it in your mouth and stop her jaw from closing.
Fingers. Yeah.
I think that is, unless you're planning on stabbing her in the mouth, that is literally the fastest thing you can do.
I was like, should I just kick her in the face? Is that better?
No, honestly, this is probably the best way you can do. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a dexterity check.
Oh,
we're essentially just we're both going to make a dexterity check to see who moves quicker. And since this is just something they're doing with their mouth, they're not getting disadvantage. It's a straight up roll. What is your roll?
A natural 20.
I got a 6 + 3.
Oh.
You get your hand in their mouth, and you're aware that in a split second they're going to try and bite you.
Yeah.
You very, very quickly just touch like the inside of their mouth, and you just feed with the tips of your fingers this capsule. And I say capsule like, modern day people think capsule like a flu tablet. This is essentially a little clay thing, a little clay sphere that's going to be full of some sort of deadly poison. And you just touch it with your fingers, and you grab it with the tips of 2 fingers, and you pull your fingers out before they can react. And you have in your hand a little clay sphere. And they look at you, and then they close their eyes and rest their forehead on the cobbled stone street. At which point the guards come round the corner, whistles blaring, and shouting for you all to stop.
Well, that's it for another episode. Thanks for sticking with us. As usual, I'd like to thank Lixie B and Jeff for the wonderful logo and character art they created for us, the Storm Weather Shanty Choir for letting us use their song Drunken Sailor as our theme tune, DN Dice for sponsoring us, and all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who have been helping us out. Just before we jump into the recommended podcast this week, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the Merely Role Players podcast. They are also returning from a hiatus on the 16th of August. So if you stick around after the recommendation, there will be a promo trailer running for their current season. But I highly recommend picking those guys up, and just wanted to give them a shout out. That said, our recommended podcast this week is the Dungeons and Dragons and Psychology podcast. So Dungeons and Dragons and Psychology podcast is hosted by Robert. He has authored a book called Session Zero, the Dungeon Master's Guide to Writing Great Campaigns in Any System. And he uses the podcast as a way to explore how different forms of psychology can affect your play, and just, I say vice versa as well, how play can affect your own mind and how it can be used in specific ways. It's been super interesting. I've really enjoyed listening to it. It's made me think a lot differently about the way certain things are run and handled in my games. And I think it's a great podcast to listen to, both as a DM and as a player, because they don't just talk about DMing tips, although it is mostly that, but they do talk about things like, character development and backstory and stuff. So that's the Dungeons and Dragons and Psychology podcast. There'll be links to their socials and things in the description. But that's it for this week's episode. Don't forget to stick around for the Merely Role Players trailer. But other than that, that's it for this week. So we'll see you soon.
Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we're merely role players. Now playing in the main house, Vigil.
It's true. My department has abandoned this town and left you to fend for yourselves against your worst nightmares. But I promise I'm not going anywhere, and I'm asking you to join me. Your neighbours never need to wake up and remember their nightmares, because we'll be there, keeping watch.
Vigil, a Merely Role Players production. Search for Merely Role Players wherever you find podcasts. Maximum drama guaranteed.